Hello and welcome to today's presentation. I'll be discussing the undergraduate research experience at California State University, Fullerton. The undergraduate research experience at Cal State Fullerton is offered by Project RAISE, a federally funded grant program that has the goal of increasing the number of Latina and low-income transfer students who complete bachelor's degrees in STEM fields and enter careers in these fields. My hope for today is to provide you a great description of the undergraduate research experience program, help you understand eligibility requirements and the application process for the program, and to talk about what it might be like to participate in the undergraduate research experience at Cal State Fullerton. But first, I'd like to share a little bit about what undergraduate research is in general. So, undergraduate research is any research that is conducted by undergraduate students. Now, as an undergraduate student, you don't necessarily work on your own original research question, but instead you usually work under the leadership of either a graduate student or a faculty mentor and support them in their own investigation. These individuals become known as your primary investigators, or PI for short. So what is the undergraduate research experience at California State University, Fullerton? Well, it is an opportunity exclusively offered to community college students who attend Project RAISE partner colleges. It is an 8-week-long program that runs from June 20th through August 12th in 2022, and it is offered annually. And it provides students the opportunity to conduct research at Cal State Fullerton during these 8 weeks in the summer. For the undergraduate research experience program at Cal State Fullerton, join a lab for the summer. They participate on research under the direction of their faculty mentor, and they get to collaborate with other program participants as well as Cal State Fullerton students who are working in these labs throughout the year. Ultimately, at the end of the experience, they get to present their findings at the Cal State Fullerton Research Symposium over the summer. And throughout the experience, they receive a $5,000 stipend if they are eligible. This stipend is intended to provide them with the opportunity to forego work during the summer so that students can focus 100% of their attention on research. Undocumented students wishing to participate in the program are not eligible for the stipend. However, they can still apply as volunteers. As a result of the undergraduate research experience, students not only benefit from having that actual hands-on experience within their field of study, they also get to enhance those technical skills and those presentation skills. A lot of that happens in the lab as you get to present not only to your research groups, but ultimately you also get to present to the Cal State Fullerton campus during the Summer Research Symposium. Throughout the experience, students also report building proficiency in reading journal articles. And one of the bigger takeaways that they feel they take from this program is their ability to expand their professional networks. This happens both in the lab and with the greater scientific community, as many times they go and present their research at regional and national conferences. In fact, we've even had some students who have been lucky enough to have their research published and become co-authors because they found some way to support the research sufficiently enough so that their faculty decided that their contributions entitled them to receive co-authorship in our publication. As you can see, there are many benefits of conducting undergraduate research, and in some cases, students have decided that, yes, this solidified their decision to pursue a specific major. In a few cases, they've also realized that the major that were intended is not the best major for them, and they've decided to act early enough to transition to a different major, sometimes even motivated by the experience where they do a transition from maybe a biology program to a biochemistry program. You may be asking yourself, do I already need to have prior research experience in order to participate in the program? And the answer is absolutely not. In fact, we recognize that the undergraduate research experience is a learning opportunity. So all we require of you is a scientific curiosity. Our faculty mentors know what level of preparation you have prior to joining the program, And many of them have said that they're happy to train you in every step of the process so that you can understand how to do research and how to be successful in their own labs. As you can see from the statements on this slide, our faculty are very well aware that this is a fantastic opportunity for community college students to perform research in a laboratory setting. They also realize that you might still be deciding upon your major. So what they're most curious or what they're most interested in is that you have that scientific curiosity and that you have an interest in their field, right? They are happy to train you in all tasks and concepts related to the project that you're going to be working on during the summer. You may be asking yourself, where can I see a list of projects that will be available as part of the undergraduate research experience this year? Ultimately, we're still recruiting faculty and we won't provide a final list of projects for this year until sometime during the months of April of next year. And that's around the time that we'll be doing the interview process. So students who are invited to interview for the program will receive a list of faculty mentors available so that they can come into the interview and share with us who they would like to work with. However, if you would like to get an idea of the type of faculty that have been available in the past, you can go to our website at fullerton.edu/Project Raise and review a list of our previous faculty and projects that have been available historically as part of the undergraduate research experience. As a word of advice though, if you are invited to come in to interview for the program, I highly encourage you to go ahead and review the faculty that are released for this year and to make sure that you have the opportunity to select your top 3 to 5 choices so that you can talk about those during the interview process. Now that we've discussed a little bit about what the undergraduate research experience is, let's talk about the URE eligibility requirements. And the very first requirement is that you have to be attending one of the various community colleges that partner with Project Race and Cal State Fullerton. As you can see from the slide, we partner with 10 different community colleges, and they are Citrus College, Cypress College, Fullerton College, Golden West, Irvine Valley College, Mount Sac, Orange Coast College, Saddleback, Santa Ana, and Santiago Canyon College. Our next requirement is that you must be majoring in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. And we do that because we only partner with 2 colleges at Cal State Fullerton, the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics and the College of Engineering and Computer Science. So we only offer opportunities for research within majors that are provided within these 2 colleges. Moreover, you should be currently working towards your very first bachelor's degree. If you've already achieved a bachelor's degree in a different field and are now working towards maybe requirements for a master's degree or are deciding to go back and do a second bachelor's, this opportunity would no longer be eligible for you. However, there are other programs available that may be able to support you and might be better suited for your current level of preparation. And as I mentioned earlier, to qualify for the $5,000 stipend, students must either be U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Undocumented students are still encouraged to apply, however, they would be doing so as volunteers without the eligibility to receive the stipend. There are also a few minor academic requirements for you to be eligible for the undergraduate research experience. First, you must have completed at least 2 courses in either science, technology, or engineering prior to the start of the program. This year, the program will start on June 20th, so you should have completed those courses prior to June 19th. Additionally, these courses do not need to be sequential. So if you're an engineering major, you don't have to have taken, for example, engineering 1 and then 2. You could have had taken engineering and physics, or you could have taken biology and chemistry. They do not have to be sequential within your major. Since there's still a whole semester before the undergraduate research experience happens, you can absolutely take these courses or make sure that you meet this requirement by taking courses next semester. You just have to make sure that you pass those courses. And finally, you have to also have met a current level of math preparation for the program. So as you'll see from our slide here, every college has slightly different classes that will make you eligible for the undergraduate research experience. However, Ultimately, what we're looking for is students who are eligible to participate or take Calculus 1 the semester after their participation in the undergraduate research experience. What that means is that you should have taken all prerequisites for Calculus 1 by the time that you're going to start the undergraduate research experience program. So when and where can you apply? Applications are now accepted, and they will be accepted through March 7th of next year. Applications must be submitted through our Project Raise website at fullerton.edu/Project Raise, and that will be provided in the link within the description of this video. If you are a student attending Citrus College, there is a slightly different application process, and you should go to tinyurl.com/citrusure. So you might be wondering, what are the steps to apply? Our very first recommendation is that you visit our website at fullerton.edu/Project Raise. Once there, you'll be able to maneuver over to our undergraduate research experience page, where you can see not only our eligibility requirements that we've discussed, but also the application process. As part of that, I highly encourage you to download the URE22 application checklist, as well as the URE application preview. The checklist itself will give you all the information that you need to complete in order for you to submit a successful application for the program. The preview is actually every question that you're going to get asked, and you're going to have the opportunity to review those questions before you start submitting the online application itself. We highly encourage you to draft your personal statements and short answers on a Word document so that you can go ahead and copy those over into our online application when it's time for you to submit it. Ultimately, we provide all of that information because our application can only be completed in one sitting. You do not have the opportunity to go ahead and save the progress and then return at a later time. You should be able to submit everything in one go. So what are the components of the application? First, you'll need to update your resume. Then you'll need to have the ability to submit unofficial transcripts from each college that you've ever attended. Even if you only took one class at a random college, you should still provide us original transcripts. Unofficial is okay, but original from that college. We ask that you merge all of that into one PDF file, as you'll only have one upload document to submit. The application will also require that you submit responses to a personal statement prompt, as well as short answer questions. Please draft those ahead of time and make sure that you are just pasting them into the application itself. You'll also need contact information for one recommender. Your recommender should be either a counselor or a faculty member at your community college. And you'll need to submit all of these documents and information through our online system in order for you to complete the undergraduate research experience application itself. We have 2 short answer questions, and they have to be within 1,000 characters or less. That's about 150 words. We're a little bit more generous with the character limit, but we would like it to be about 150 words or less per question. So you'll have that opportunity to submit those many characters for each one of these responses. During the first short answer response, you have the opportunity to talk about your extracurricular involvement, your own responsibilities, your work-life balance, and any community service that you're engaged in. Within the second question, you get to talk about what your expectations might be of your faculty mentor, of your lab mates, and also how you think you might be able to contribute to a lab as part of the undergraduate research experience. We provided 3,000 characters as the space available for your personal statement, so we're suggesting that you complete it within 500 words or less. Ultimately, as part of the personal statement, you'll want to make sure that you address the prompt that we have provided for you. Through this prompt, you'll want to share why you want to participate in the undergraduate research experience, and also talk to us about your short and long-term goals, how your personal background has motivated you to pursue these goals, and the steps that you have taken towards achieving those goals, right? So you'll want to make sure that you're including any volunteer experiences, class projects, or other experiences that you feel have prepared you for the undergraduate research experience program. It would be wonderful if you also tie it all together and share how you believe that URE will help you get closer towards achieving these goals. We highly encourage you to seek support with the application process, and so we want to remind you that you have your college counselors, professors, maybe writing tutors, peers, and career center staff at your community college available to provide support with the application process for the Undergraduate Research Experience Program. So how can you strengthen your application? First, let's begin by looking at the application process itself early and start preparing your own responses to the short answers and to the personal statement. Second, you'll want to make sure that all documents are submitted on time, including the recommendation itself. So you'll want to make sure that you're communicating with your recommender early, asking for their feedback, and confirming that they've submitted their recommendation on your behalf. Of course, prior to submitting your actual application, we strongly encourage you to review, edit, revise, and submit the most polished essay prompts and responses that you can submit. And when writing your responses, we believe it's a great idea to include examples wherever possible that demonstrate your interest and passion for your field of study. Perhaps a good example would include enough details to tell us why you think that that's an important or related example. So one thing that students often do is they say, oh, I've volunteered at X, Y, and Z place, but they don't really tell us or provide enough details to share how they've grown from that experience, how that has motivated them to continue in their field, or maybe how that has changed the way that they thought about something and what growth they've experienced as a result of that experience or of that participation, etc. So you want to make sure that whenever you're saying, oh, I volunteered at X, Y, and Z place, you also share, how that was beneficial or how that helped you in continuing with your goals. As a reminder, you'll need to submit one file that includes your resume, your transcripts from all the schools you've ever attended, and those can be unofficial, but it will be merged into just one document that can be uploaded into the application process. There are instructions on how to create PDF files and merge those within the URE application checklist, but it is very important that you submit only one file after everything has been merged. In order to ensure that your file is matched with you, we strongly encourage you to save it with your college initials. So if you attend Mount San Antonio College, you would put MTSAC and then underscore your last name and then underscore your first name. For example, a Santiago Canyon College student would write SEC underscore Hawk underscore Eduardo. As I mentioned earlier, you will need to submit one recommendation for the Undergraduate Research Experience Program. This recommendation can come from either a professor at your college or a college counselor. Ultimately, those recommendations will be uploaded online, and the deadline for the recommendation itself is due on March 9th of next year. We recognize that this might be your very first time asking for a letter of recommendation, so we want to provide you with a few tips in order for you to receive a strong recommendation. First, you should ask your professor or counselor if they can write you a strong, positive, detailed recommendation for the undergraduate research experience. You want to give them the opportunity to decline, and you want to ask as soon as you can. If at all possible, when you are asking for the letter of recommendation, we strongly encourage you to provide a copy of your application materials, so your personal statement, all of the information that you've gathered so far, and also to provide them with complete instructions on how to submit the recommendation on your behalf. You'll also want to make sure that you inform them of the deadline for their recommendation and that you follow up with them. You'll want to follow up with them at least 2 times, perhaps 2 weeks before the deadline, and again a couple of days before the deadline to ensure that that has been submitted. You may also follow up with us by emailing us at race@fullerton.edu, and we'll provide you with a submission update upon your request. It would be also a great idea to prepare your recommender to answer the questions that they're going to be asked, right? So you'll want to make sure that they have your name and your student ID number as it will be written in the application. You'll also want to make sure that they have an idea of your future career and education plans, and also that they can talk about your qualifications and merits for understanding or conducting research and solving problems as part of a team. So if you haven't established great relationships with faculty mentors yet, this is an opportunity for you to do so within the next semester so that you can get a strong recommendation. The application timeline available below will provide you an idea of what to expect once you submit the application for the Undergraduate Research Experience Program. Applications are accepted through Monday, March 7th, 2022. The recommendations must be submitted by Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. Selected finalists will be invited to interview at Cal State Fullerton by Friday, March 25th. And interviews will be held at Cal State Fullerton between March 28th and April 8th of next year. Final decisions should be sent out by Thursday, April 21st, and we'll begin the program with an orientation and kickoff on Monday, June 20th of next year. The undergraduate research experience will take place between June 20th through August 12th, 2022. If you're interested in participating in the program, we encourage you to make sure that you are not scheduling any travel plans during this 8-week period. Completing the application for the undergraduate research experience is a huge step on its own. So if you're not selected for the program, don't be discouraged. You will have the opportunity to apply for the program again in the following years, as we will offer the program through 2026. We strongly encourage you at this point to make sure that you're talking with your recommender, your college counselors, and to think about how you might be able to improve your application for the next application cycle. Should you transfer to Cal State Fullerton, we highly encourage you to enroll in the Race Transfer Program, as it is an additional program we offer students to support them with their transition to the university level. If you're transferring to Cal State Fullerton, we highly encourage you to sign up for the Race Transfer Program. The Race Transfer Program is open to all community college transfer students, regardless of their participation in the undergraduate research experience. Students in RTP receive support and are matched with a Cal State Fullerton peer advisor. Our peer advisors consider themselves your first friend on campus. They provide you with support and help you understand the policies and procedures at Cal State Fullerton. Students who engage with the Race Transfer Program are also eligible to receive priority registration. So don't hesitate to confirm your participation in the Race Transfer Program if you are considering Cal State Fullerton as a transfer destination. Finally, we encourage you to engage with us in social media. We are available at CSUF Project Race in Instagram and Facebook. You can also find our YouTube channel at tinyurl.com/Project Race YouTube.